Hey, what's up everybody? This is my review for last night's Monday Night Raw Old School Edition. That's right. Now believe it or not, this is actually my first time doing a Raw review in about a couple weeks. I've talked about WWE and TNA and all that in the past few weeks. But it's the first time I've done a Raw review in quite some time. As a matter of fact, the last time I recorded Raw live, if you will, depending on where you live, was back on October 7th was the last time I recorded any wrestling on my DVD. So that was the last time I did anything wrestling related. But anyway, I have to say that this was a pretty good Monday Night Raw. I mean, it was really, WWE, just depending on how you look at it, WWE really went all out on the retro look. There's not much you could say about the fact that, they just went all out. They did the best they could to go all out. I mean, they brought back when we normally get the intro to a pay-per-view or to a Raw, a SmackDown, or NXT, or Superstars, we usually get what we have now. But instead, we got that old logo. And I'm not talking about the logo where you had the words spinning around like a tornado kind of deal and you had the WE sign or WF logo come up. No. We had the old logo. The one that was in space. It had the lights and all that. The only difference, when it started to say World Wrestling Federation, they crossed out Federation and put Entertainment. That was pretty cool. And then they did the old Monday Night Raw beginning. And I'm not talking the old Monday Night Raw beginning where, you had Diesel and Razor Ramon and Bret Hart. No. I'm talking about the old Monday Night Raw beginning kind of mixed in with the superstars of today. So that was pretty cool. And it's, it was basically the same beginning we had seen from 93 to about early mid 96, and that was it. But it was pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool to see that, and everything was retro. I mean, everything. WWE just went all out with this. They went all out with this last night. They had the old Titantron, if you will. They had the old Raw logos under it, the Raw sign. They used to see at the Manhattan Center and stuff, as well as in other arenas. They had that out. They had the ring basically the way it was. What it said World Wrestling Entertainment in blue. Had the blue steel steps. Had the ring ropes all red, white, and blue. I mean, it was terrific. I mean, the barricades. I mean, they pointed this out on the show. The barricades weren't even the walls anymore. They were just the metal retainers again. So that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see that. And they had the old, like with Raw, when they would have Raw, with the Titantron and all that back in the day, back in the mid to late 90s, they had the old, what were they, standing things where you had the WE signs or WF signs on them. And then, oh my God, you talking about really going retro. On top, you remember going to those live events back in the 80s and the 90s, and even, seeing the pay-per-views and everything on television? You remember those big old banners they would have hanging? It had the WF sign on it. They had those out. But the only difference is just like with the logo at the intro, it was called World Wrestling Entertainment, not Federation. And the same could be said for the ring apron. I mean, the apron itself was all blue and it said Entertainment instead of Federation, but it was almost everything that was the same. Everything was like back when they first started. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. They even, you want to know how far they went? The announce table. The announce table. Normally we see the announce tables now. They went back to the old just regular table, everything sitting down, and they had the steel chairs. And, get this, they had the announcers, Michael Cole, and even JR, that's right, JR made an appearance, wearing the old mustard-colored yellow mustard covered suits like Vince McMahon used to wear. And the King went back to, well, he didn't go back to his heel ways. He just went back to dressing the way he was when he first did commentating for the WWF. He had his crown on and everything. It was pretty cool. And they had him standing every time. Every hour they would open up with the same, they would re-air the intro every hour. Just like they did back in the day. And you would have King and Michael just standing up there recapping, talking about what's going to happen and all that. It was pretty cool. They even had the old graphics and all that. So that was awesome. They even had Mean Gene Okerlund appear in the Command Center. That's right. We had seen that, the Command Center? We had not seen that in years. We had not seen that in years. And the arena, oh my God. The arena, they went all out on that in the backstage area, making that feel retro. They made that feel retro. They had the backstage interview area. I mean, everything was just retro fitted last night to match the theme. It was just unbelievable. And I have to say, they had a record, I think, to me, I think this is the most matches they've had on Raw in a while. Like 10 matches. 10! The first match, of course, was Mark Henry and Dolph Ziggler. And Mark Henry came out to his old sexual chocolate music. And he had his old sexual chocolate, one of his old sexual chocolate outfits on. That was going old school right there, if you think about it. And of course Dolph Ziggler won that cleanly in the ring with a sleeper, but that was pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool. In the list of legends they had was a pretty good list of legends. They had, like I said, they had Gene Okerlund, and one thing I didn't mention, they had the old podium back. That's right, they had the old podium back. You remember that old podium where the wrestlers would go up on stage and get interviewed? They brought that back. And the last time we saw that old podium was what? 3 years ago, something like that? When Kid Cash attacked, I don't know who he attacked, I don't know if it was Funaki or somebody, he attacked on SmackDown. That was the last time we'd seen it. But it was brought back tonight. And Gene Okerlund was doing the interviews. That was good. That was actually pretty good. But like I said, the next, we had all the legends. We had interaction between the present superstars and the legends. It was really cool. You had Tony Atlas there, basically talking 100 words per mile. Talking like 1,000,000 words per mile, 100 miles per hour. It was like unreal that you had that. I mean, it's like, wow. He was talking so much that the Hart Dynasty, they just said, okay, we're out of here. And then they come back and he's still talking, and Yoshi Tatsu's right there listening in, and Yoshi's like, I just want to kill myself. It was just fun. It was a lot. And then you had the Hart Dynasty take on Nexus, and like I said, they had the old graphics, they had the old replay graphics and everything. After they did like the double feature, they would come back. They wouldn't like zoom back in like this. They would just, fade right back into it. It was pretty cool. And the camera angles, oh my gosh, the camera angles were just like back in the day. It was like up close and personal. I mean, oh my, it brought back a lot of memories, man. I'm telling you, it brought back a lot of memories. But anyway, next match was Nexus, Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel against the Hart Dynasty. And believe it or not, it finally happened. Hart Dynasty has disbanded. Tyson Kidd turned on D.H. Smith. Don't know where they're going to go with this. I know we're going to have a Kidd versus Smith feud. Don't know if that's going to lead to any championship matches individually for both superstars, but we'll see what happens later on. Then we had, I think, John Cena taking on Alex Riley. I think that's one. If I'm missing a few matches, I apologize. We had John Cena taking on Alex Riley. It was supposed to be The Miz, but Miz came out and said, hey look, the GM didn't sanction it, and if he's got a problem, let me know. There was no problem. Alex Riley faced John Cena. John Cena beat Alex Riley, and the reason this match came about is because John Cena earlier in the night had told The Miz, look, I'm not going to let you cash in that Money in the Bank contract against Randy Orton tonight and cost me the opportunity. Basically, he just said, I'm not going to let you do that because I have my reasons as to why I'm protecting Wade Barrett and why I don't want you to cash in. So we'll see what happens. Then let's see. Oh, then we had Santino and Vladimir taking on the Usos for the #1 contendership to the tag team titles. And before that, we had classic Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov in there. And then you had Vladimir join Nikolai in singing the Russian national anthem. It was fun. Iron Sheik goes off on Hulk Hogan. It was like pretty cool. And then you had Slick come down to help Santino do a song. But then you had your match, and believe it or not, Santino and Vladimir win the match because of the Cobra. That's right, because of the Cobra. So Santino and Vladimir are going to be facing Slater and Gabriel for the tag team titles at Survivor Series. That's pretty cool. Then we had like a backstage segment with some of the legends. Basically, they helped Goldust retrieve the $1 million belt from Oksana and hand it over back to Ted DiBiase Sr., the $1 Million Man. He was going to get, and $1 Million Man was going to give it back to his son, but his son said, look, I don't want it. I have my plans for something. I want something that's not a hand-me-down. And then they basically have a dancing segment afterwards, you know, after both DiBiase Jr. and then Cody, who appears, leaves along with Goldust. And they, like I said, they have a dancing segment, and who comes out to kind of stop the dancing segment as it's going but Ron Simmons, Farouk, with his damn deals. That was pretty good. And people loved that one. They were like, finally. So, what else? Oh yeah, we had Alberto Del Rio taking on Sergeant Slaughter. Alberto Del Rio got an introduction by Tito Santana and was driven to the ring by Chavo Classic. So that was pretty fun to see. And Alberto Del Rio had a decent match with Sarge. You know, give Sarge what, you know, despite how old Sarge is, had a decent match. Won the match. MVP came down to make sure there was not more damage done to Sarge. So we might have something going there. And then we had an impromptu match, I think, between Mae Young and Lay Cool. Mae Young came out to be interviewed and have a reflection of her career. So, and oh my, Mae Young as entertaining as ever. I mean, she basically went out, Lay Cool interrupted her, but basically she came out and she called Lay Cool, and we're talking TVPG here, right? She called Lay Cool a couple of bitches and sluts. At 87 years old, who's gonna stop her? So basically they do get the match done, get the match happening, but all the divas come out because it's no disqualification, falls count anywhere. Referee comes out, the divas help Mae Young basically beat up, do the majority of the beating up on Lay Cool. Mae Young puts her foot on top of Layla, 1, 2, 3, and get this, by doing so, Mae Young makes history. That's right, she makes history when she pinned Lay Cool, or pinned Layla last night, she made history by being the only female or male wrestler, doesn't matter what gender, but the only wrestler, male or female, to wrestle in 9 decades. That's right, 9 decades. That's unbelievable. And I'll be back with part 2.